Hello everyone, welcome back to our technology lessons. If you hadn't noticed, we've been talking a lot about coding lately, and well, we're going to continue that today, but this time you can take your coding outside if you can, or you can bring it inside if that is a better option. I saw that we're supposed to have a couple nice days this week, so I'm hoping you'll be able to take this outside if you really want to. Now, you won't need a whole lot for this. So if you are going to take this outside, you'll need some sidewalk chalk. And that's about it. And maybe a plan. If you are going to do this indoors, you might need some paper or scrap paper would work. Or maybe you could use some index cards or maybe even some junk mail to write on the back of if it's okay with your family. So if you are ready, let's make a plan. Then we can decide what materials we'll need, and that will be up to you depending on how you're going to do this, if you're going to do it outside or if you're going to stay indoors. And then we're going to code a game that you've probably played before, but it's not on any piece of technology. So let's make a plan. You might need a piece of paper or something to write with, and then meet me back here and we can get started on a way that we can code a game that we've all probably played at some point, but didn't realize that we could turn it into technology with coding. So go get your things and meet me back here. All right, do you have your things? Okay, let's get started. So I have my whiteboard and I'm going to use it to help me plan today. I saw some of you had done your binary activity last time on your whiteboard. So if you want to do yours on your whiteboard to plan, that's totally fine. If you have pieces of paper and a pencil, that works too. So let's get our writing utensils, let's get what we're planning with and get started. Now, you may have heard of a little game called Hopscotch. Now, I was inspired to do this activity by my neighbor's kids. I was going for a walk one day with Mr. Hannon, and I noticed that the kids in my neighborhood had drawn a hopscotch on to the sidewalk that is right in front of their house. So of course I had to do it. But then it got me thinking, what if we could turn hopscotch into something with technology? Hopscotch and coding are actually a lot alike. In hopscotch, you have a sequence that you have to follow. So if you start at the beginning, you usually have to hop on one foot or both feet, and then you switch to both feet or one foot, and you just change off and on. Well, coding is a lot like that because you have a sequence you have to follow. So that's what we're going to do, is make a sequence. Now, I'm going to go ahead and plan what I would like my hopscotch to look like. Now, it's not going to look like our normal hopscotch where we would draw boxes and then we'd split those boxes so you have somewhere to hop. Let's do it a little differently. So I'm going to go ahead and just start planning how I want this to look. So I'm going to get my board here. And I'm going to give it a box to start. Okay? So I'm going to label this start here in just a moment. But I'm going to think of which direction do I want this to go. Now, do I want this to go up or to the side, since I drew it over here in the corner? I could go over or I could go up. So I think I'm going to make mine go up. So I'm going to draw another box there. Okay? And then I'm going to draw another box on top of that. Now I'm going to stop here and go ahead and label a couple things. And I might leave some things open too, just because I want to be able to go back and do exactly how I want this to go. I want the sequence to be perfect. Now, a sequence is just the order of things and how they move. So we're going to decide what do we want to do first and then go from there. So let's go ahead and label. So I'm going to use a different color. So I know where to start. I'm going to use a red marker and I'm just going to write the word start. Okay, so now I know I can start in that first box. Then I'm going to give directions. I'm going to keep the red marker. This time I'm going to make an up arrow. That means I want the person to move up one or take one step. This box, I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet, so I'm just going to leave it blank for right now. All right, let's add some more boxes. Now, if you didn't notice, this is starting to look a little different than what usual hopscotch would look like. But that's okay. That's the fun part. So I'm going to add a box here here, and let's just do one more. Okay, now it's starting to take a shape. Now it doesn't have to be a specific shape. It could just be like a squiggly line type look, and that's okay. It's yours. You decide what you want it to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish drawing in the boxes, and then I'm going to go back and put in what I want them to say or what I want the person to do when they get to that box. So this part's going to be sped up a little bit, so just stay tuned. All right, I'm all done. And now I'm going to go and label the end, or where to stop. And stop signs are red, so it makes sense I would use a red marker. So I'm going to say stop right here at the end. Okay, so I have a start, and I have one direction that I've decided to use so far, and then I have a stop. Now, go ahead and draw what you want yours to look like. You can do one just like mine if you want to. Maybe you have a certain shape you want to use. It's up to you, really, how you want this to look. Go ahead and put in a start and a stop. And then if you have a couple ideas for directions, then you can write those in. We can always change them later. Just make sure you have a start and stop, and then I'll be right here waiting to show you a couple other things we're going to do. And hope you're feeling creative, because this is going to get really fun. All right, are you ready for the next part? Now, I know a lot of you like to dance because I've seen you do it at school. So this is the chance that you would get to use those in part of your hopscotch coding. Now, I said that we're making a sequence. That just means an order of which we want things to go. So I started mine with an up arrow, okay? And when they get to this box, let's say I want them to do something like, I want them to clap. Okay, so they're going to clap their hands when they get to that box. Okay, and then they're going to take one step this way. So I'm going to draw an arrow to show them what direction. And then I want them to spin. Now, if you're somebody who likes to draw, you could also draw the pictures of what you want them to do. But I'm just going to keep it to words for time's sake. Okay, so when they get there, I want them to spin. And then I want them to take one more step in that direction. For me, that would be going left. For you, it might be right. And then when they get to this box, I want them to hop. And how they hop is up to them. Then I want them to take one step down and one step over to the left for me. And then when they get to this box, I want them to hula, like hula dance. That sounds like fun, right? Then I want them to take one step up. And let's see, what other things could I have them do? I'm going to think on this for a second. All right, I thought of some ideas for things that they could do. So maybe when they get here, I want them to put their hands up and wave their arms. So I'm going to say wave arms there. And then they're going to take one step to the right for me. And then I want them to jump. And I think I'm going to have them spin again. That was fun. Spin. And they're going to take one step up. Now I have two boxes left, and I know this one is going to be step to the right for me. I need to think of something to put in that box. I've got it. I want them to do the robot. So I'm going to write the robot. Because it's technology, of course we would do a dance that has something to do with technology. All right, so I have everything filled in. Now, if you're thinking, Mrs. Haanen, how in the world is this like coding? Well, You just did coding and you didn't even realize it. So let's talk about some things that we did that you probably didn't notice were actually coding. So all of those video games and games you like to play on your computers or tablets or phones, all of that was created with coding. And they use specific things that we just did. And then we're even going to add something extra. So let's talk about some things that we already did. We just did something that I bet you didn't even realize was coding. And you've already done it while creating a hopscotch game. We just gave it a sequence. Now the sequence is just the order in which you want things to happen, or the commands. So we have a certain order for how we want our commands to work. Like I want them to start first way down here. That gives me the very beginning of my sequence. That's my first command. And then as you go through my little hopscotch maze kind of thing, then I give different commands that I would like for the person to follow, and then I tell them when they need to stop. We do this with computers all the time. You have to tell them when to start doing something and when to stop doing something. When you play a video game, somebody that's a computer programmer has done the exact same thing to your game. It's just the part you don't see. You only get to see the fun part, which is the game that you play. Now, there's one more thing that we've already done, and that's called a condition. Now, we did those when we said to do certain things. It's an if-then command. So when we get here, if there's something in this box that's not an arrow, then you do what's in the box. That's called a condition. So when I start here and I move up, then when I get to the next box, if there's something here for me to do, like clap, then that's what I do instead of movement, like up, down, or side to side. Okay? And then I have spin, hop, hula, hands up, wave, arms, jump, spin, and the robot as my conditions, or things that you do if they're in that box. Then you do them. The last thing we're going to do is where we add something that we want to repeat. Okay, so I need a different marker for this one. I'm going to use a blue one so it stands out a little more. Okay. Now we're going to give some of these a loop. Maybe you want the person to do something more than once, like clap. When we clap, we don't usually clap one time. So maybe we stick a little box out here to the side, and then we can say repeat maybe 2 times. Okay. Then when we get to hop, let's add a loop there. And this time we could say repeat 3 times. Okay, can you see how I added those little boxes there? And then I just wrote repeat. And I accidentally erased some stuff over here, but that's okay. I wonder what else I could do. I'm gonna fix those boxes while I'm thinking about it. I was thinking that maybe we should hula, and I'm going to stick this repeat box or loop at the bottom because that's where I have the most space. I'm going to say hula should repeat 4 times. And then I'm going to say a loop on wave arms, and we're going to repeat that. And I know I'm writing that kind of tiny, but I don't have a lot of room. I'm going to say wave your arms 6 times. Okay. And then we're going to jump. That's okay for 1. Spin around 1 time. And then let's do the robot 2 times. So I'm going to say a loop here. And repeat 2. Okay. Now, if you're drawing this outside, see if anybody stops by to actually do it. And if they want to know what it is, you could tell them, hey, that's coding. And then they could try it. It gives it a little twist on regular hopscotch. And it adds some things that you could do to maybe even teach somebody something. You guys like to teach me dances all the time at school. This would be a way you could do it in a hopscotch way. Okay? So you have just done 3 very important things in coding. Now I'm going to go over those one more time. We did a sequence, which is just the order of our commands, or what we want the person in this case to do. We also gave conditions, which means if there is something in that box, like clap or hop or spin or hula, then you do that. It's an if-then command. If it's in the box, then you do it. Then we also added loops or repeats. A loop is just commands that repeat more than once. So we have some that repeat 2 times, 3 times, there's 4 times, 6 times, and 2 times. Now, if you want to add more loops, that's up to you. You could even make the whole thing a loop where you do it 1 time and then you go back and start over and do it all over again. That would be a loop too. All right. I hope you have fun with this because honestly, I was so excited to see that one of my neighbor's kids had put a hopscotch course out on the sidewalk. So of course I have to do it. But then it got me thinking, my students could do this with coding. So you have the 3 basic skills. You have what you need. If you can take it outside, I would love to see a picture or a video. If you do this inside, because maybe you just caught a day that it's not nice to go out or you just can't go outside for whatever reason, then I would love to see a picture or a video, whatever is easiest for you. So have some fun with it, and I hope you enjoy it.